discuss such an important matter. We had an initial meeting in Addis Ababa back in March, and here we are again to have a further discussion and hopefully move another step forward. Egypt, as the regional director for Africa, United Nations Development Program, just said, is the president of AMSEM. AMSEM is the African Ministerial Conference on the Environment. For those of you who are not familiar with AMSEM, you would be pleased to know that this year, in March, we had the last meeting of AMSEM to celebrate the first meeting, which was held here 30 years ago in Cairo. And I'm very privileged to be here today. I was at the inaugural meeting of AMSEM. I remember very well what happened at that meeting, and it was remarkable that Africa managed to build consensus on environmental matters over a period of 30 years. You may or may not know that the next door continent, Asia, has just been able to help for the first time the Asia Pacific Ministers of Environment. First forum was organized just last week. Africa has been waiting for 30 years and has been able to build consensus. You know, these meetings are important not only because they are milestones where ministers come to adopt decisions, but they build team, they build a consensus, and the fact that you have a very strong African group of negotiators on climate and other conventions is certainly a testimony to that. Egypt is also, through President al-Sisi, the chair of the Committee of African Heads of States on Climate, CAHOSC. So it is really good and important that we had this meeting here in Cairo, so as to be able to connect directly and report back to the Bureau of AMSEM that will be meeting in a couple of days from here from now, but also to be able to report back to the chair of CAHOSC that will play a crucial role. It is really opportune and wonderful that President al-Sisi is the president of CAHOSC at a time where we are preparing for COP21, climate change in Paris, later this year. We are here to discuss Africa 2020,
I feel honored today to attend the opening of this consultative meeting on Africa 2020 Renewable Energy Initiative. The young guys here have more energy than expected. So. Okay. I feel honored today to attend the opening of this consultative meeting on Africa 2020 Renewable Energy Initiative. I would like, on my own behalf and on behalf of the Egyptian government, as well as on behalf of the African Ministerial Conference on the Environment, AMSEN, to first start by welcoming you all to Cairo, Egypt, and more importantly, to this consultative meeting. As we all know, that the major objective of this initiative is to help catalyze a major scaling up of renewable energy deployment on the African continent, and thus help our countries to meet the ever-expanding energy needs in an environmental friendly manner. I'm therefore pleased to note that some groundwork has already been made with regard to this initiative by way of the preparation of a concept note and a project proposal, which will be the basis for our discussion here today. I am also aware that initial consultations have been held in March this year in Addis Ababa. Ladies and gentlemen, African countries continue to experience a lack of access to affordable and reliable modern energy. The lack of access to modern energy services severely impedes social and economic development of the continent. Africa has substantially new and renewable energy resources, most of which are underexploited. It is a fact that Africa had the largest number of people relying on traditional fuels, firewood, for energy generation, for cooking and heating. These sources have substantial adverse effects on the health and productivity of our people. It is therefore critical and urgent to address the continent's energy needs in order to unlock its development potential. Over the last decades, the gap between energy supply and demand in Africa has been growing. It is projected that this gap will continue to grow, and the livelihood of more Africans will continue to be critically impaired by energy poverty. Energy has been supplied in insufficient quantity at a cost, form, and quality that has limited its consumption by the majority of Africa's population, making the continent the lowest per capita consumer of modern energy of all regions of the world. However, although meeting urgent energy needs is the priority, it is also imperative to take into account environmental and climate change concerns to enable the continent to gradually embark on a sustainable low-carbon growth path. To this end, Africa is endowed with diverse renewable energy resources, which, if properly harnessed, could help to sustainably meet the continent's energy demand while responding to the climate change challenge. It is in this context that during the 15th session of AMSEN held here in Cairo in early March this year, African ministers adopted a decision on climate change calling on the Green Climate Fund and all partners to support the full operationalization of the African Group's Renewable Energy Initiative in order to set in motion concrete pilot activities and projects with a view to demonstrating the full potential of such initiative and laying the foundation for rapid and massive scaling up. Ladies and gentlemen, you may also be aware that AMSEN adopted a set of regional flagship programs to help us contribute to the implementation of the outcomes of Rio +20 in Africa. Among these programs is the African Program on Sustainable Energy Development to facilitate the provision of a coordinated and consolidated support to African countries to develop their energy sector and help achieve a sustainable energy mix. This program was expected to build upon existing energy initiatives and programs that are being implemented by different partners and consolidated the support provided to African countries. I am pleased to note that the steering committee of the flagship programs under the leadership of NIPAT will be meeting here tomorrow to discuss ways and means of moving that process forward. It is therefore my hope that this initiative on 2020 Africa renewable energy will complement the efforts being undertaken under the flagship programs. Dear ladies and gentlemen, the potential for renewable energy development in Africa is experiencing an increase in attention lately, as investors and world leaders seek a new clean energy frontier. The continent could become a gold mine for renewable energy due to abundant solar and wind resources. And this is why this initiative on Africa 2020 renewable energy is timely. Today's meeting is an opportunity to make progress on the development of this initiative. To effectively move this initiative forward, we should build on and strengthen the already existing initiatives and partnerships, as well as create other new partnerships. I am therefore pleased to note the presence of several partners at this meeting and wish to thank you most sincerely for finding time to join us at this meeting and for continuing to stand by us. For this indeed does not only signify the importance you attach to this initiative, but also the recognition that you are true partners in supporting us to address the challenges facing our continent. I wish you all fruitful discussions and thank you for your attention.